So it's the day after the day before. I think yesterday I don't know. 22nd, 21st, is it the equinox? Yeah, it's the equinox, isn't it? So if you're in the northern hemisphere and the sun is out and you're wearing no suntan lotion and your shadow's shorter, you'll be making vitamin D. You only need to get your arms and your legs out 15 minutes a day. But the window will get bigger as time goes on because the sun has to be at a certain height in order for you to be able to make it in your skin. Talking of vitamin D, we're taking this high level vitamin D, this cholecalciferol, whatever it is. I've mentioned it in my other videos. Everyone has been sick. I mean, there's been so much sickness at my place of work. I've come home with a headache before and thought, oh, something's trying it on, and within an hour it's gone. Vitamin D is definitely something to play with it. The other thing I've found out as well is sunbeds. You've got different types of tubes. You've got UVA and UVB tubes. UVB are the bits that make vitamin D. So you can make vitamin D on a sunbed, which is good to know because it is the biggest deficiency there is in the world. And I'm convinced the lack of vitamin D and the excessively bad food chain, along with all the environmental crap that flows through us every day. You know, if you x-ray for a living, you only have to do so many and have to stand behind a lead shield, but it's okay for the vapid amount of crap that goes through. You can't see all the infrareds and the ultraviolets and the rays going past you, can you? If you could, you wouldn't see past here. It'd be like ridiculous. You know, people who fly are not allowed to go up when the sun's too active because of the x-rays and stuff, right? So they have to fly at a certain height, especially if there's proteins bouncing around the ionosphere. So it makes you think. So with the food chain being so tainted and not everyone being able to afford organic, and then if it's organic, is it really that good anyway? Unless you grow it yourself, you don't really know how efficient, you know, it is. And if it's, you know, you only know what you've. But being someone who doesn't eat meat or doesn't use dairy, and I don't use dairy mainly because it irritates me now. I don't like how dairy treats the animal trade, but it kind of almost like if I'm not going to eat meat because I can't kill it because I won't eat it, I always feel like I shouldn't eat dairy due to principles or use dairy. But as it happens, I think I'm actually allergic to it. When you stop, you realise how inflamed you become and what things change. But now, all this fake meat and this fake alternative, you know, I occasionally have a spicy bean burger or a vegetarian quarter pounder or Linda McCartney fake sausages, but that's probably it. And the occasion fake chicken burger and barbecue food. Other than that, I use tofu, I use pulses, I use lentils, I use beans, broccoli, Brussels, beetroot, potatoes, sweet potato, every vegetable you can think of. And what I have a tendency to do now is I get a baking tray. I'll cut up some new potatoes, I'll cut up some beetroot, I'll cut up some peppers, some red onion, some Brussels. I'll cut them in half and cut the ends off. Broccoli even. Whack it all on a baking tray. Maybe 2 fake sausages if I'm going down the sausage route. If not, I'll have green lentils, or I'll have a can of red kidney beans and put some, or mixed beans and put some sauce in them, or you can buy it with chilli sauce. I try not to buy too much processed. I like to just have the raw material, put it in a fucking oven, cook it, put it on a plate, and then use hot sauce, salt, pepper, and maybe alioli as a garlic sort of like to flavour it, or tomato ketchup. It's that simple. I've gone back to basics. At work, I so in the morning I have porridge. I put some dark chocolate on the porridge. I usually put some frozen fruit on the porridge, flax seeds, etc, etc. I use almond milk, which has 3 ingredients in, hardly any almonds in, just mainly water. I put cinnamon and nutmeg on the top of it. That's my breakfast. And I put my protein powder in there, which is pea protein and sometimes cocoa powder. It depends if I'm buying Tribe this week or I'm making my own. I found a cheaper alternative to make it. You know, basically buy a pack of natural pea protein or rice protein, whatever protein you're using, or both. Mix it up and then just buy some cocoa powder, add it to it. That's chocolate flavoured protein powder. Hello. So as I'm only ever put it in my porridge, I don't drink it as a drink. So I have porridge staple every day, apart from one day of the week, which is Saturday, and then I might have smashed avocado and tofu and sun-dried tomatoes and olives or something on toast for breakfast. And then in the week, Monday to Friday, currently, I'm going back on my DPR route by the sounds of it for a few weeks. End of the financial year, so I always have a knee-jerk reaction. It might be forever, it might be short-lived, who knows. So I'll be out on delivering parcels in a few weeks. So I always take a packed lunch to work, which will consist of, like, I'll take a wrap, but I get these really thin wraps, these pavilion wraps, and they're like about 100 calories each. They're really thin, you get them in Sainsbury's. And I literally put rocket, tomatoes, cucumber, peppers, and if I want to flavour it, a bit of alioli, or cut some sun-dried tomatoes or olives up and put it in it. I don't buy meat alternative. Why would you do that? There's no point. Occasionally buy crisps, if not Twiglets, and that's a processed part. I do take protein bars occasionally, but I'm actually going to make flapjacks and put protein powder in them, and maybe drizzle some chocolate on top, so I know where they've come from and I know the sugar, etc. I'd rather do that myself, so that's something that's in the pipeline. Every day I take a banana, an apple and an orange to work, and I take a handful of almonds usually, or mixed nuts, but it's usually almonds. And then when I come home in the evening, I only have one coffee at work as well. When I come home it's mainly water I drink. When I come home in the evening, I have something like, you know, roast beetroot, roasted potatoes, roasted whatever. I whack it all on a baking tray in the oven, and then I add either lentils, pulses, beans, or some kind of fake meat to it, and that's it. I only eat dark chocolate. Cacao's great. It's not very nice to eat all the time, but I try and only buy things in their raw source. Obviously, it's not always feasible in the sense of it's not always convenient, it's not always cheap enough, and it's not always, you haven't the time scale. Expense, you know, all these things, but you can do it. And if I look at the way the world is, the amount of things that are wrong with it in the sense of health and how people's well-beings are, it's so related to the environment and your food. You know, my dad's always used to say to me, you are what you eat, your body tells you what you need to eat. And he's fucking right. He's right. He's right. He's so right. It's ridiculous. I do take supplements. I take vitamin D most of the year. I take iron because I've always been anemic. I do take a vitamin C tablet now with the iron, a high strength one, to absorb it. It seems to be helping my iron because I used to have kind of bad gums. I have my teeth cleaned. I used to get bad gums, and you can see our gums are quite pale. Well, that's like kind of, and you can see here, it's to do with iron. Well, I've always kind of, my nan was anemic. I'm not anemic. Whenever I went for blood tests, I think it has to be at 14 or something, nanobites or whatever it is, or nano whatever it is, grams per milliliter or whatever it is, some bullshit. But mine always sat at 14, and that was the minimum, so it didn't drop as quick, so they always used to have to sort of prick the end of my finger and then take some before I gave blood. I take a perimenopause supplement, which is this actually. What else do I take? I take Coronium Pica. If you're diabetic, don't take that. It's an insulin thing. It helps with processing insulin because I'm perimenopausal. That is something that's definitely, my body doesn't process carbs as well as it did. It's only a brief thing. I find that helps. What else do I take? I do take a K2. Sometimes take some amino acids, but the vegan version. This one. That's probably it, really. I don't really want to take supplements, but the way the world is, I can't grow purely organic food in my garden. It's not big enough, and I just haven't got the time. And I think that's what a lot of people's problems are. But anything that's got more than about 4 ingredients in, your body needs some crap, because if you give it crap, it learns how to deal with the crap, so it becomes strong from it. You know, it's like if you lived in a clean room and never saw any bacteria, you'd be in shit the moment you saw some. So your body, your innate immune system needs that input. So you need a bit of inflammation from food from time to time. So I'm not saying that you should go completely clean, but people should be a lot more conscious of what they're eating and how much they're eating. Because when I walk through town, you know, it's not just everyone's overweight. It's not just that. People are all different sizes. People just look ill. They look really dead. It's fucked up, man. Anyway, just thought I'd sort of try and get back into vlogging. And I just wanted to talk about how I've changed my eating habits when it comes to vegan alternatives. I don't need vegan alternatives. I go to the vegan alternative fridge and I go, okay, do you want afters? No. And I walk away. And the only thing I really buy in the fresh area is sun-dried tomatoes, olives and hummus. And if I'm feeling really lazy, I'll occasionally buy a dal soup mixture. That's usually in the winter. And then I carry on walking. The next fridge I go to is to get almond milk by a company called Plenish. It's literally salt, almond and water. Sometimes buy a barista milk, but I don't like to because it's full of oil. Then it's like literally lentils, pulses, and then I don't really buy many crisps, some nuts, dark chocolate only, and then to the other end of the shop for frozen blueberries or frozen mixed fruit, some fake sausages possibly, some spicy bean burgers, some wraps, this is literally it, my shopping. I don't even need a shopping list anymore, it's just the same. And I'm one of those people, I could eat the same every day. It has to look like a rainbow, right? Think about it. If light is 7 colours, there's something in that. I'm sorry, but logically it tells me my body needs to eat all 7 colours. So just put them on your plate. Well, it makes sense. It's like the other thing I was going to talk about is creams and suntan lotions on your skin. Your skin's got holes in, it's porous. It's like this, right? So these are pores. And then you put suntan lotion on it, which is in effect, it's like putting a pane of glass over your skin because you can see through it. So where the pores are blocked with this pane of glass, which is the cream, you sweat and the water accumulates between the pane of glass and your skin, indirect sunlight, causing that water to heat up and burn your skin. Surely, there's a pane of glass, it can't release, it can't, yeah? Putting cream on your skin is literally like, you know, especially an oil, that's like wrapping yourself in cling film and going outside and then wondering why you've got burns all over you when you take it off because your sweat's balled up to 100 degrees Fahrenheit or whatever, centigrade, whatever, and burnt the surface of your skin. So to me, why would you block your pores? That's why I don't wear, you know, you're not born with a substance that you put on your skin, are you? It's there to protect your internal system, surely? Or is it me? Does that make logical sense to people? Because that's how I think about things. That's how I kind of look at things. I think, well, okay, obviously, I'm not always right. But to me, it's like, why would you wrap yourself up in something? It's like a ganglion. If you've got a ganglion, like, you know, people get ganglions on their arm, and then they burst the ganglion, and then the ganglion comes back up. And I'm like, well, when you do this, you create heat, friction. So if you're doing this with your hand all the time, you create friction between that joint. So your body compensates by putting water around the joint to keep it cool. Like when you go to the gym, you get a pump. It's not a pump of, it's literally water around your muscles cooling them down because they've got warm. So that logic I apply to lots of things. So why would you get rid of a ganglion? It's like, oh, I've got backache. Or your body's telling you don't move like that. So what, you take a painkiller to suppress the pain and then carry on moving like that? It's not got any better. Your body's telling you it hurts for a reason. Don't do that. But we don't listen. And I just don't get it. I don't get it. So I'm going to stop now because I don't know what else to say. Peace, love and light.